I see you're there. Meanwhile, we changed basically the name and the case, and I see you are creating a good advertisement in the back end there.
Yes,
so sorry to have kept you waiting. You've been
no
sitting
problem.
there for some time. Yeah, the reason why I, of course, also wanted to point towards IoT was, in this case, also very obvious. Flanders Food is working on a very interesting project called S3Food, supporting food companies in their innovation exercises. And I think it's actually pretty interesting that that we are indeed here talking about some security challenges, while mostly the real challenge is about the day-to-day business, and especially also in today's configuration when in the next week or 2 weeks, enterprise will have to restart their activities after having been shut down for about 4 weeks, 5 weeks. And so I think also we are looking into how can we support our companies in doing this better. Maybe in some cases there are 24/7 operations which have been continuing, and with the right tools and technologies, I think we can facilitate that. But maybe in to point out on what S3Food is really all about, and maybe also how it can help our companies in the food sector in innovating. Please indulge us with some insights. Bart, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. I will share my screen with the presentation. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
And can you see the presentation?
Has started screen sharing. Yes, we can see it.
Okay. So S3Food is a project which is a European project. Now, first of all, Flanders Food, for those who don't know the organization, Flanders Food is the, let's say, the driving force behind innovation for Flemish food companies. We are so-called a spearhead cluster for the food industry.
I'm not sure if I'm the only one now.
No, I don't hear it.
Okay. But I think, Bart, we lost your voice a couple of seconds ago. So let's see if we can get that message across to Bart. Yeah, that's not gonna. All right. This is interesting.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's fine.
I can't hear
Okay.
anything. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yes. Bart, can you hear us? We can hear you, Dimitri, but we can't hear Bart.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, now we can.
Okay.
Now we
There's
can again.
something strange with my microphone. It switches off without any reason.
Are
Okay.
you using an external screen maybe? Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, maybe I will plug it out.
Yeah, that's best. Yeah, because it searched for the HDMI. All right, so we lost you about a minute ago.
Okay. Yeah, that was the initial slide. So the objective of this project is to support food companies in 4 different objectives. First objective is to improve the efficiency of the company. That's always very important to get in line or ahead of the competition. Sensors can be integrated in the production lines to obtain a higher quality, to get more a sustainable production and products, and and are already very important in keeping the food safe. So these are the main goals of the project. And now the project is about helping these smaller and medium-sized companies. So already I can tell you that there will not be money available for the larger companies. I will come to that later. Now this is a call which is open at this moment, and so smaller and medium-sized companies, either food companies or tech companies, like companies dealing with IT solutions, software providers, cybersecurity specialists also. They can all participate in this call when their objective is to help a food company with one of these objectives. The thematic priorities where these projects have to fit in there are 4. So the first one is it should be the objective to have sensors installed to monitor the critical control parameters, and by preference in real time. So we're talking here about inline or at-line sensor systems that that are really a step forward compared to other measuring systems that are offline. So the sensors should be integrated and implemented in the production. Another element of this project is everything that has to deal with smart data management. And here I think the link can be made with the cybersecurity. So all the data that has been logged by the sensors should be stored somewhere, should be analyzed, and should be kept safe for yeah, let's say the people that may not have insights in this data. Connectivity in food companies, so that could be inside the walls of the factory, but connectivity between machines, for example. It can be connectivity between different sites, or it can be connectivity with the whole chain from backwards from the suppliers towards the customers. So these are the 4 thematic priorities, and each proposal for funding will be examined against one of these priorities. The partnership which is dealing with this project reaches out from Norway till to Spain, and from France to Hungary and Greece. So you see there the whole territorium where this project is ongoing. so when can you be when can you apply for funding, for example? This is when either you are situated in this region, um, or you are a member of one of these participating clusters. Now, the funding is only one element of this project. There are a few other things that are being done. For example, there are organized study visits in different countries. So the aim is to go see in another country, in another area, what they are doing there with sensors, to visit facilities, living labs, uh, IT solution providers, and so on. So it can be different. The program is always a bit depending on the host, how they organize it, but the objective is always to inspire the people who are joining and to do matchmaking between food companies and solution providers. Besides that, there are ideation sessions organized, and one-to-one meetings with experts can be done. So this is all to get the two different worlds closer to each other. Namely, we want to support the food companies in their plans to get a step further, and this they can do by adopting technology from technology providers, and meeting them, talking to them is a very important element in this process. But then finally, of course, very important. It's about getting money. Europe has a certain budget available in this project, which will be distributed by means of vouchers. And there are, in fact, 4 different types of vouchers. The first type is a travel voucher. It's for a value of 650 euros. And the purpose of this kind of voucher is, for example, to participate in one of these study visits. If you want to travel abroad, unfortunately, we had, of course, to cancel some of these visits at this moment due to the corona crisis. But as soon as it is allowed and it's wise to do, we will start again with these visits, and so SMEs can apply for such a voucher. Besides that, there are innovation vouchers, and these are divided in 3 types: exploration voucher, and validation voucher, and an application voucher. And I will come to the differences soon. So the main goal is supporting these small and medium-sized enterprises in their development of their changes, which are then linked to these thematic priorities. Here, a view on the different types of vouchers. So the innovation vouchers, there are 3 different types. The first one is an exploration voucher, and you will see in green, for those who are familiar with the TRL levels, that the more or the higher you get in the TRL level, the higher will be the possible voucher support. So for an exploration voucher, which has the purpose to have a first kind of testing of a sensor or a system, or yeah, to really test in the first step a new element in your facility, you can get a 15,000 euro voucher. For each voucher, there is a set of criteria that you will have to meet before you can be called eligible. I will not go into too much detail. I will at the end refer to the website of this S3 Foods project, where you can find all the information. I will just now explain the principles. The validation voucher, this is when a certain technology can be really validated in your production environment. So where the exploration can still be done, let's say, outside of the real operations, the validation voucher should already be in the relevant environment of the food company. And here it is mandatory that two companies work together. This can be, first of all, two small or medium-sized food companies, for example, but it can also be one food company or one tech company with involvement of RTOs, with living labs, universities, or bigger companies. So, for example, if you are a small and medium-sized technology provider, you could have a combination with a big food company, for example. This could be a perfect match for requesting a validation voucher. So the most important criterion here is that you are a small and medium-sized enterprise, and you are in the regional scope of the project, or member of one of the partners. Finally, the application voucher. So it's for the real implementation of a digital solution in the company, in the site, at the line. And here again, two companies have to work together. You see that the total amount has risen to 180,000 euros per project, but this means that for each company involved in the project, there's a maximum of 60,000 euro. So you cannot get more than 60,000 euro. That's the maximum limit. Also, it's possible to apply for different or to submit different projects, but always the maximum amount that can be granted will be 60,000 euro. So at this moment, the call is open, and by mid-May, this first call for the innovation vouchers will be closed, and the projects that have been submitted will then be evaluated. And this does not mean that it's not possible to submit your project after this date, because submitting can be done the whole year, but there will be a new evaluation period starting from December this year until early 2021. And so that's the second wave of the call. So I think I said now the most important elements. So the link with the cybersecurity can certainly be there when, as told, when a food company is looking for digitization of their operations or their systems, and they have interest in buying, for example, new technology or coaching or advice. This money can be spent for this kind of support. So here below you see the link to the website. You can explore that. There are already some movies on. There's a whole list of frequently asked questions and the answers, of course, which you can explore. And so that's about S3Food. Anyone who is interested in more information, please contact me, and then we can look further into it. We have somebody in our team that is especially supporting our food companies or exploring other questions to have a pre-screening if the ideas make sense and if they fit into the thematic priorities, so we can help you out with that. So,
perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bart, for the overview presentation. I think that makes that finalizes this seminar. But I think I like a lot that you also open up the opportunity, in any case, for cybersecurity activities to take place on this. For us, I think we have many different other types of components that we can propose in this world. So as LSEC, we are not only in cybersecurity, we're also in the domain of digital transformation. And so from this side, we also do similar things with the robotics, but we also have numerous technologies in terms of analytics and industrial IoT technologies that would support this. And I'll just quickly show one of those things that we do have today that could help this out. It's basically a platform which is called Factory Sense, and just closing these things here. And so from Factory Sense, what we can bring is actually the whole transformation activity for food companies as well in getting their online digitalization on board. And we specifically focus on both the innovation of the process, on the sensors, and on the components of the analytics. So that's maybe a short that I would like to add to your excellent overview presentation. So I think also from this, Bart, I guess that companies can address their questions if they would like to, in the first place, to the website of S3Food, and likely also to Flanders Food and to yourself directly.
Of course.
Okay. Maybe as a final question also to you, what's the type of questions that you're usually getting from companies that are looking into the S3Food scheme? Is that to do with are we as company eligible, or is this project?
Most but the both. Can we apply, and is this idea fundable? These are the two most important questions. The first one is very easy to answer if you're based in Flanders and your company has not more than 250 employees and your turnover is below a certain amount. This you can easily check. There are instruments to do that.
Yeah.
So then you're as a company you're eligible. But then the second question is.
But you say now in Flanders, but they can be in any location.
It can be in it. Yeah, of course. It's in the beginning of my presentation. I had a map with the different areas. So it includes the whole of Belgium, certain regions in France, certain regions in Holland, in Germany, in Denmark, in Spain. So yeah, you need to be in that specific territorial scope, let's say. And as it is a European project, their objective is always to enhance the cooperation between nations, between regions. So it would be a plus if the cooperation between these two companies is cross-border. That's one of if the review is being done of a certain project, then the element of having a cross-border cooperation will be considered as a interesting plus. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good final note to bring to the table in this overview. Okay, so we run quite significantly over time, but I mean that's the privilege of having a webinar. We can cut it up and cut it into pieces afterwards as we see fit. So we had a lot of positive comments that people will continue with viewing this after the next conference calls that they had planned at 2:30. So with this, I would say thank you very much in any case to all of the different participants. I'm quickly going to show also what I showed this morning, basically, and that is the plan for our next activities. So we have coming up still different activities in terms of cybersecurity next week. Later this week, we'll have basically 2 sessions, namely on Thursday, one on the privacy implications of the cybersecurity impact of COVID apps. That's on Thursday noon. And so in the morning, we'll be talking about identity and access management in the 21st century, which is also highly applicable for cybersecurity, of course. And then next Tuesday, we'll continue our activities that we had planned for industrial automation security. So 2 have been confirmed in any case. That's Dieter and Jan in terms of Sentinel-1 and Secudea. And then Vincent in any case as well. We'll streamline that title of the presentation a little bit further in the next couple of days. And to be confirmed, depending on some final restarting or not restarting capabilities and cases from the ESF, Marina Krotofil will be presenting from the end user perspective. So with this, I would like to thank all of you that stayed on for the next 3 hours and something in this extensive webinar, and like to wish you a very fruitful continuation of the afternoon and week, and hopefully we'll see you again either later this week or in any case latest by maybe next week. If at all we can get started again somewhere in a week and a half, keep it safe up until that time, and certainly afterwards with mouth caps, with goggles, with any sort of protective wear that we can have in the next likely 6 months to 9 months moving forward. So keep it safe, everybody, and stay virus free, and looking forward to seeing you again in person in a very short time. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Ciao.